What is going on, Internet? Eric Van Holt's back again with another e-commerce conversations. I hope all is well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the Internet from me, Dave. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Super stoked for this call. We just connected on X, and I discovered you because I guess there is a entrepreneur. I don't know, was it Cody?
Jacob. It
Who?
was Jacob. Yeah.
Okay, Jacob had basically a contest. Who can improve his PDP or his website conversion the best will win $15,000, and you're the winner. Tell me about that. Let's get into it. Well,
It's been,
actually, before we get into that, who the heck are you and what the heck do you do?
yeah, of course. My name is Dave. So I run Syntraps, a basically CRO agency. We continuously A/B test. So like I'm a firm believer of testing as much as you can, collecting as much data as you can. Just keep pushing on that. Like I always say there's nothing like you cannot test too much.
Okay, so you're a CRO guy. How did you run across this tweet and this offer, and how did that whole promotion work?
It was actually pretty funny. I know Jacob already. I visited him like in person back in November, October, sat down with him, already was begging him basically. I'm like, dude, just please let me just test for you, like just for free. Just let me show you what I can do. Like he always has helped me so much with the business. I was like, I want to do something in return, like I just need to help you. And he just wouldn't let me. He's like a very honest guy. He cannot get that over his heart to basically have this on his conscience that like someone did something for free for him. So I was like, fair, if you don't want me to do so, I won't push you too much. So I think in February or beginning March, he actually posted that tweet. And I was in a call I was in two back-to-back calls, so I didn't see it immediately. And like all of a sudden my phone started blowing up. I had like people sending me the tweet like, Dave, you should hop on this. I got tagged like 5 times by people that I know. I'm like, what's going on? So I see that tweet that he's basically looking into like, hey, like someone needs to optimize. And I immediately texted him. I'm like, dude, like, are you challenging me right now? Like, I'm down for this. You know that, right? And he was like, okay, then let's do it. Let's show me what you got. And that's basically what snowballed, man. It was very, very coincidental. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so Jacob is J for Jacob is the X handle. What is his business? What kind of products is he selling?
I cannot say. I cannot say.
Okay,
He prefers to keep it secret. So I'm going
okay.
to respect that.
So how many people did he have working on this? Can you talk about that?
I have no idea. I know that at the moment when I did it, I was the only one. I knew he had a couple of agencies before me, which is completely fair, of course. But like at the moment, like that was just me because like I also told him like if I do this, I want to be the only one working on this because I don't want like 3 or 4 people working at this at once and we have like data basically overflowing left and right.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my question because it's like I guess you could all create your own PDP and then you just split your ads
Yeah.
to different landers and see who converts best that
Yeah.
way. How is data hygiene and what are the best practices for analyzing
Very good question. I
conversions?
mean, like when it comes to PDP, right? Like we do a lot of PDP testing, listicle testing, all these things. And what I really always want to do is like Intelligent has this feature that's basically called where you can basically segment tests, right? It's called, let me quickly double check because I completely forgot what it's called. Um Mutually exclusive testing. Like that's what I always activate, right? Like always make sure that like when I'm testing 2 tests on a PDP, they're mutually exclusive. I don't want any overlapping data. So I want to keep the data as clean as it is. So even if we're doing an advertorial and a product page and like we're testing on the advertorial and we're testing on a product page, I make them mutually exclusive just so that I know they're in their own buckets, like they're not overflowing into each other. Even though it doesn't happen that often, I just want to have that like sense of thought, like that I know like, okay, there's nothing going wrong there. So that's basically how I keep that up. Like I always ask the brands that we work with, like, hey, what are you doing on the ad side of things? Are you testing new angles? Are you playing with new creatives this week? Because like if the ads start to misperform a little bit, I know like, okay, this is what most likely what is causing it. And I can from our side immediately jump on that and like tweak the test if I need to. So that's how I always keep that in mind.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a tricky thing, especially for smaller brands that don't get a fair amount
Mm,
of traffic where it's like, all right, I have one ad, it's popping, it's working, here's the hook, it's driving sales. And then all of a sudden, like that ad fatigues, which, can happen almost on a weekly basis for people. And then you have a different one with a different hook and it's driving to effectively the same PDP, but I would expect like different kind of conversion rates based
yeah.
on that. Like, I've always imagined like the best converting ad is going to be one that's really linked to the PDP that it's landing to, right?
Yeah, I mean, like that's interesting that you say that because I've had like a lot of conversations the last couple of days, and like one of the things that I'm keep telling everyone is like you don't need to force a listicle advertorial. Like if you already have something that's working, just optimize what is working. Don't try to add extra friction because when I look into the data, I see like people that have like a listicle or advertorial are playing with it. They at least lose like 40 to 60% of the visitors on that advertorial, like basically losing a significant amount of traffic that doesn't end up on your product page that you basically don't have a chance to even sell. So like I always tell people, just keep it simple, focus on what you already have and just optimize it.
I've always been a big fan of your PDP being your landing page. It's just
Yeah.
one less thing to tweak and optimize. I understand, the power of, sales landing pages that you convert later. I don't know when you, I guess I tend to speak to smaller brands,
Mhm.
probably doing typically 8 figures and below. You come in, at what point does it does like A/B testing make sense? Like, what kind of volume do you need to be hitting in terms of like sessions or visitors before you feel like you can get a statistically relevant and true answer to the modifications you're making?
I would say it's more so orders, right? Like visitors, like I could have like 100,000 visitors, but if I only have 20 orders, like then like still there's no way for me to judge that data. So I always want to get like at least 500 orders per like test as a whole. So like basically 250 and 250 is just an A/B test. And that's basically more than enough. Like then you can already run a test. So like basically if you want to run 4 tests, you want to have like 2,000 orders a month, like roughly. That's very rough. Obviously, every brand is different. That's always something that I have to add there as a disclaimer because people sometimes take it too literal. But like that's what I use in a rough base. Like we always see brands that like if you don't have that, I would say then probably A/B testing shouldn't be your priority right now. Like then ad creatives, like your ad performance and all those things should have your top priority. Getting more volume, getting more sales in that route. And then once you have like those sales coming in, then you know, okay, now I need to optimize. Now I need to tweak. Now I need to start to A/B test. Before that, you definitely can optimize your PDP and you can definitely play around with it. But then just look at like what your CVR is doing on like an actual daily basis and don't use an app like Intelligence or something like that because you're just gonna not waste visitors and not waste orders, but it's just like it's not gonna be like as rewarding as it would for a bigger brand.
Okay. So let's say you're getting, you want to do weekly tests. You're doing about 500 orders a week. So you're able to get statistically relevant information on these tests. Um, where, like, obviously, it's great to hear. Yeah, we A/B test everything, but you only have what is that, 48 tests a year or 52 tests a year, something like that.
Roughly.
So
Yeah.
it makes sense to really prioritize where you're testing. Where do you get started? Like, where do you feel like the biggest levers can be in conversion rate optimization?
It's funny because I still see announcement bars being like the biggest one. Even like single product stores can leverage it so well. Like it's very interesting. Like most people just slap on like that announcement bar and they're like, like I'll never pay attention to that anymore. But like even if you have an offer going on, like even just like if you have like a spring sale going on, you don't even have to add like a countdown timer to it. Just add like a URL to it that you link to your PDP. Even though you go directly to PDP, just link it to the PDP. People just have this tendency to always want to press the announcer bar. It's very interesting, but they always want to click something. One of the biggest mistakes I've actually been seeing a lot lately is like not showing your price underneath your product title or product description above the fold in the PDP. Brands always want to show it in the variant selector or in the add to cart button or something like that. And they're like, oh, you know what? I'm clear with my pricing. This will work. But people shop at for the pricing immediately on top. Like people want to know the price immediately. And they're not going to judge you if the price is a little bit too expensive. They just want to know. So like we notice that like every time we implement that, we see that as a win. Like those are like that's one test that I've like not heard a lot of people talking about, but like that we've recently started playing with.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because it's in designing a landing page. um, there's all this information that you want your customer to have. Like, of course, you want them to know about how great your product is, how much it costs, what the reviews are. But the more and more things that you put in there, the more cluttered it gets. Like, what are some things that should be below the fold or are low priority things that you don't have to push too hard.
You definitely want to add an FAQ at the bottom of the page. That one thing for sure. You want to add some social proof as well. Like you can just do like a review slider, like a carousel, right? Like that's something you can do. That's something I always do. Also just some information. It really depends on the industry you're in. So let's say if you're like selling supplements, you want to obviously tell a little bit about the ingredients. A comparison chart always works very well. Fashion, healthcare, like all these industries, I've seen it work in every niche, basically, just adding a comparison chart below the fold. Like it's something that just works. Like show why you're better than the others. Reviews, of course, like Judge Me or Loop or Loops or whatever you want to use for an app there, that always works as well, like adding that extra social proof. And basically those are like the main ones I have. So like USPs, reviews, us versus them, another time reviews, and then an FAQ. That's usually what we follow there.
Yeah. What one of the big levers I got to imagine is the images that you choose to put in your image catalog.
Yes.
Um I, are you where do you sit in that in particular? Like, do we put text on our images? Do we, do a knockout, or do we do a lifestyle photo? Like, what are some of the best practices when it comes to utilizing your image carousel?
Yeah, that one is as well like very industry specific. So if you're in fashion and jewelry, definitely go for the lifestyle ones. Like you can add like, for example, if you're selling chains, you can try to put a image that like where the chain is laying on a nice table and all those things. But like everyone has already seen that. Like if you put like if you're selling to women, like show a blonde model that wears the chain, like that always converts better. And that's actually a funny fact. In fashion, we always see blonde models outperform brunette models. Like that's one of those things that I've been noticing lately as well, which is I don't know why, but it's very interesting. Um, then for like beauty, actually, we noticed that like adding text on the first image definitely works. Like for example, like fastest X ever, something like that, something with the speed. If your main selling point is like, hey, we're the quickest result ever, show that on the first image and show some reviews on the first image. So like there's definitely some things you can play with, but it's very market and industry dependent.
Yeah, I mean, so I think a lot of my listeners are familiar. I kind of run Beard Brand, um, and we've been doing this a long time. We don't do any proper like A/B testing. It's all
Mm.
like we're a smaller brand. Maybe we do have enough volume to kind of justify the A/B testing. But I've always been like, one of the downsides of installing like an A/B testing is it's going to immediately slow down the website. With that software. So like I've kind of been like a gut feel kind of guy over the
Mm.
years. And I and I know like it's more like directionally accurate kind of stuff. Like we do something and then this
Yes.
week does it go in the right direction or does it go the wrong direction? But I see like I can change nothing and see volatility and variability in our conversion rates.
Yeah, 100%. I
Um,
mean, like that's what I tell everyone, right? Like your ads still basically are the biggest lever when it comes to CBR. Like I always tell people, like don't see us as like a last resort. Like we're definitely not like magicians that can increase your CBR with like 50% overnight. Like if your ads are dropping in performance, like there's just no way I can pull that off. Like if your ads are growing, your CBR will grow. But that also means that my results will amplify themselves as well, right? Like it will like make a better impact. But then again, what you see in your testing software as well, I always tell people take it with a little bit of grain of salt. Like we're having tests right now that show like 200K in extra monthly revenue. And then I just go to the brand. I'm like, realistically, it's probably between 50 and 150K. Like take it a little bit lower, take it a little bit broader. Depends on your traffic because like the testing software only sees the traffic that you're sending now. It doesn't see the traffic that you're sending in 3 months, for example. Like that's why I tell everyone. I'm like, take it with a grain of salt. Don't stick too much on the results that you see there. Just keep an eye on what the actual performance of the store keeps doing. If it starts dipping, we know, okay, this is what we implemented when, and we just start backtracing from there.
what so in regards to the PDP, kind of touch base on that. What about like the homepage? Is that something
Yes.
that really matters? What are some of the best practices for managing your homepage?
Yeah. So like homepage, like more like I noticed as well, like brands don't realize how much visitors leak to your homepage. Like a lot of customers always press like your logo, right? That you have in your nav bar. They're like, oh, this looks nice. Let me press this. Then they end on the homepage. And then most brands don't have an optimized homepage because they don't even realize there's that much traffic leaking to the homepage. They just assume like, hey, I sent them to the product page, so they stay on the product page. So basically, the best way you can go about it is just have a good hero header in place on the homepage. So like show a good image, show either a lifestyle image or a product image there as well. Show reviews, show like a good title and a subheading that really talks about like, hey, this is what we do and this is how we solve the issue that you're running into. Have a very simple like call to action, like just shop now, just keep it simple, shop now. I always see people playing around with like what they put in as text in their buttons. Just keep it simple, shop now, add to cart, checkout. Don't do anything weird. And then you could even add like a money back guarantee or something like that, or like some USP icons, but that's usually what works for us. And then below that, I would add like your best sellers. Like show your best sellers right below that. And then usually what we do if you have like multi-category stores, we add like tabs on there. So like you can immediately filter by collection on the homepage. And then like people don't have to go to the actual collection page. They immediately can do it from the homepage, which then goes homepage direct to product page. It takes away the collection page in between, basically.
Yeah, we at Beard Brand, if you guys haven't been to my site in a while, I've kind of there's one designer I absolutely loved, or do love still, Tobias Van Schneider, and he had I forget what brand it was with, but he had a landing page for his homepage that was just text. And for me, there's just something about the simplicity of like a single call to action. Like you have one shot. What is the one shot? It's like you're in the elevator. This is your elevator pitch. You have 30 seconds. You can't tell them a whole life story. They don't care. So what is the one thing that you feel like is going to make the biggest impact on the audience who's arriving? And I think it's kind of interesting because we rolled out on our homepage right now, it's just this text that says Beard Brand is a fragrance house disguised as a beard care company. And it's polarizing. I did a tweet about this where we got a message from a customer who's like, I don't want to buy from a fragrance house. I just want beard care products. And then I had another customer who's like talking about how great the fragrances are. And, he's like, at the end of the day, let's call it what it is. Like Beard Brand's a fragrance house. So it's like whether or not it's the right message, it's certainly making an impact and an effect where people are starting to associate that vibe for the website by being so focused. And I guess you're always going to say like test everything, test
100%, always.
it.
People always ask me like, what would you do? I'm always like, just test it if you want to be sure. Like, I cannot say things for sure, right? I wish I could. I wish I could for every brand say like, do this and guaranteed you'll make an increase. Like, always test it. Like, just be sure and test it. Like, it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but just if you want to be sure, test it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen like a brand like wildly kind of breaking the rules of best practice and it's actually more effective for them?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's some funny tests we're running now, actually, which, like, I've never seen anyone else do. Like, it's something that I hear very so often. It's like testing font sizes, for example. Like those are like, when I heard that first, I was like, dude, I never even heard anyone talk about this. And like, we actually were testing it for like 2 brands, and it's actually been working as well. Like, especially for brands that have an older audience, just increasing the font size by 5 or like 10%, like that one by itself already can like unlock so much. So like that's like one of the most like rare tests I've run in a long time where I was like, okay, like this might be interesting. But for the rest, I haven't really seen too much unconventional stuff. Like everyone is very conventional lately. Everyone is playing it very safe lately. So I think it also has to do with what's going on in the world right now. No one wants to really risk it, and like all these lawsuits with like timers and all these things. So everyone is playing it safe. I think it's also because of that, and I think that's good. But I would love to see some more unconventional stuff. That's one thing for sure.
I'm going to double down on the importance of larger fonts. Um, because everything's mobile now and it seems to make buttons bigger. So it gets easier to click on things when you have bigger fonts. And the other advantage, in my opinion, is it forces you to what is that saying? It's like I would have written you a shorter message, but I didn't have all day.
Mm.
It's kind of like it forces you to figure out what exactly do you want to say to your customers, because now with larger fonts, you don't have that same room. So you have to really get down to the brass tacks or whatever the saying is, and be intentional with what you're saying. How much speaking of what you're saying, like how much can you uh what effect does your copy have in the levers of conversion rate?
Way more than people think it is. Like people always focus on like, oh, it needs to look pretty. Like, trust me, it doesn't. What at the end of the day, what sells is what you put on the side. It's like how you say it, what you say. Be specific about things. Like I had a call with a brand today. They were like selling a solution that says like have like solve issue in minutes. I'm like, why don't you add like in 30 minutes there? Like just add like specific, like be specific with your things. So like copy and content is like the biggest unlocks ever. Not just text, but also imagery, right? Like test different models, test different product angles, test different like you could even test graphics, right? Like if you say like, hey, we solved this issue in like 3 months, take a supplement for 3 months and like you'll be pain free or whatever. Like show an actual graph that shows that trajectory, like a graph like that alone will like leave such a big impact as well. So content and copy definitely plays a very big role, if not the biggest role in the conversion.
Yeah, I think that's a really good lesson and takeaway that I've never considered is just like the specificity of everything you do. So I think about like, how quickly will my beard oil soften your beard? It's like instantly, like within seconds. I don't know, should I be like within seconds or it's like 2 seconds, your beard? Like,
Yeah.
um, how specific do you get with that? Like, is that going too far?
I mean, you can definitely take it too far, right? Like you want to,
Yeah.
if you're talking seconds, it already feels quick. If you say 2 seconds, people will be like, yeah, right.
Or
Like,
on application. I mean,
yeah,
pretty much is like you apply it and you feel it. So
yeah,
instant.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, that's cool. So I need to start doing that, more specific stuff. I heard that like, I don't know if you're tweeting about this or not, but putting like bestseller on the image is a really good formula for driving I mean, effectively your bestsellers, right?
Yeah. I think I tweeted that yesterday or 2 days ago,
Okay.
actually. Yeah. So it's like, it's this psychology, right? Like people are sheep. Like they follow wherever everyone else goes. So like if you go onto a store and there's no bestseller badge, people are basically going to free roam and try to find products themselves and all that stuff. But I noticed that if you add bestseller badges on it, you basically take away hesitation. They're like, other people opt in for this product, so like I might as well basically buy this product. I always use Apple as an example. Everyone always buys the Pro Max devices. No one goes for a different device. Most people that I know have the biggest, the most expensive model. So the rest follows. Like the rest follows with the Pro Max model. Because like if I noticed that if you have the Pro model or just like the normal model, people are like, oh, you have that model. Yeah. So like it's like basically the same as a bestseller badge on the website. It just drives you into like that decision of knowing like I'm part of the pack, everyone else has this, so I need to have this as well.
I think that's really hard. Well, I'll speak for myself. That's really hard for me as someone with kind of like contrarian takes and entrepreneurial takes. Like we're kind of people who like to swim upstream. So like my natural tendency is like I don't care what other people are doing. I'm going to do my own thing, and I have to remind myself that that's not the majority of people. So, how many bestseller badges can I put onto my products? How
I
many
would do
bestsellers can I have? I've got 9 products.
I would not do more than 3,
Okay.
maybe 2 max. But like I would definitely not push it further than 3 because then it's like the customer's going to be like, yeah, right, like everything is a bestseller. Like, yeah,
Right.
like that cannot be true. Like you want to, I would say like 20 to 30% of your products can have a bestseller badge. Over on top of that, like or above that, it's too much.
Yeah. Okay. And then yeah, I'm thinking for me in my I've got products and I've got fragrances. So it's like I can have a best-selling fragrance and then I can have a best-selling product and I'm just trying to think like how do I deliver that information, like um
I mean, you can show the bestseller badge on the homepage, the collection page, the product page, all across the board, right? Make sure that those products actually show up as like the first products on the collection page and the homepage. And then if you've got like fragrances and like the other thing, you can make them basically match, right? Like, hey, like if you buy them together, you have like the best of both worlds, like the both
mhm.
best sellers. So combine them into a package, and look, you basically have the ideal combination and the ideal what's the word, the routine in place for like with our products.
So I've got, I'm on my website. I've got like a deals tab,
Mhm.
but would it make sense to replace the deals tab with kind of like a best sellers tab? Like, Is that something that
Yes.
you would test, really?
Yeah, I would.
So you'd have a deal instead of deals as best sellers, and then we just kind of highlight those kind of products.
Yeah.
Um,
I would also, if I
and
look at your website, right? Like I would also, you have like this announcer bar, and it's just a very quick like idea that like I always like when I look at a store, I see like 5 to 10 things immediately that I would want to test. So like for example, right now, your announcement bar is clickable, like it has a URL behind it, but like it doesn't show that it's clickable, right? Like it doesn't show
Mhm.
like, hey, press this. So like what I would do if I was you, I would add like shop now, or at least like a small icon that's like an arrow that goes like slightly diagonal up that shows basically communicates, hey, this is actually clickable. And then I also see you have that like um X icon that makes you close the announcer bar.
Mhm.
I definitely wouldn't get rid of that as well because like you don't want people to close the announcer bar. It's like an announcement for a reason, right? Like you want to announce something. So like those are definitely immediately things that I would show there.
Yeah, and we've got like scrolling, so we have like 3 different announcements
Yeah.
on the announcement bar. Is that something you recommend taking advantage of, or should
I
you just
wouldn't.
have?
I
Okay,
would just have one message, one clear message. So like for example, you've got like the new beard oil that's available, the new utility bar, and then I think something else, the free shipping or
yeah, yeah, shipping for $75 is free.
yeah. So I would probably test which one converts better because there's 100% one out of these three converts better. Probably the free shipping is the one that's going to convert better because that actually is an incentive that people get. It's not like like people can be like, ah, yeah, okay, a new product. I'm not really looking for new products. I'm just like looking for like how can I save money instead. So like that's something I would test, but I would always have only one image, not a rotating announcement bar.
And then in terms of like, I almost feel like our announcement bar has a lot of opportunity for improvement because it's black. It almost seems invisible. I don't know how many people are missing it. Um,
I
might
mean, I
test a
think
different
black
color.
is a fine color, to be honest, because like it's like on top of the page, right? Even if you're
Yeah.
mobile, the black on top grabs the attention because it looks different than like the light background you've got going on. So it is there. Because light colors, I haven't personally tested colors net yet. So you've just given me a very good idea that will definitely implement for some brands right now. But usually I see like a more darker color that really is in contrast with the background color. Like that's already more than enough.
Do you freeze it to the top? Like right now when you scroll it disappears.
I've tested that a couple of times. Usually, freezing it at the top performs a little bit better than actually no, just leaving it all the way at the top, not making it sticky while you scroll. Just leaving it on top is the best way to do it because like people are like, Get rid of this nav bar." Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
see it. I just want to look at the store." And especially on smaller devices, like the whole usability just gets annoying. Then like people with like bigger thumbs, like they have maybe like an iPhone SE, like a smaller screen, like it already takes up like 20% of the screen, which is very annoying for the user.
Yeah. So especially if you're getting rid of the X, right? So you're getting rid of the
Yeah.
X, they can't close it out, then definitely don't keep it as a sticky there,
Yeah.
cluttering
Correct.
up their screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So announcement bars is a big highlight, a big opportunity for people. I want to talk about email pop-ups.
Ooh, I love that.
Uh,
Yeah.
what is your take on email pop-ups? Because I probably have a disagreeing take.
Oh, now this is going to be fun then. I think leave them if you get significant amount of visitors from your emails. If you really get a lot of signups and you really get a lot of sales out of it, it makes no sense in hiding the email pop-up because it's obviously a sales channel that's working. I even tested hiding the sales pop-ups for like 4 brands and it didn't improve anything. More so, it reduced stuff. Could have been brand specific that the brands were getting significant amount of sales from email traffic and from the discount they give on that. But I'm someone that says leave them on there, don't get rid of them.
Okay. So I disagree. And I have absolutely no data to back it up. So my disagreement is purely purely emotional,
They're annoying. That's
which
one thing for sure, though.
yeah, so they're super annoying. But if you're in America, now this might not be applicable to people in Europe, or certainly is not applicable to people in Europe. But if you're American, what I would do instead of the email pop up is use something like Open Send that is able to identify your visitors and basically collect the email addresses of the visitors who show high intent, and you can include them in the email flow basically automatically, um, and not have to and basically show this pop up to all the people and annoy them. Although, like, I don't know, like with all the legal pop ups and the cookies and all that stuff, it's like it's such a terrible thing in my opinion. I hate
What's
pop
one
ups.
more pop up?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
I absolutely hate them. Trust me. I have some brands that we work on. Every single time I want to view the test in incognito mode, I need to press away like 5 pop-ups. I'm like, dude, how
mm,
do people even buy from this? So like I'm definitely a fan in like don't overdo it. And I always advise brands to look at like how much sales are you getting out of email. If it's like a significant amount or like actually a good amount, like 5 to 10% is already a pretty big amount, right? Like then just leave it on there because it's definitely working. And especially, of course, like with the email collection, the way you just said, like I don't think we can do that in Europe over here, but like the whole privacy laws we have over here. So it's a little bit like
yeah.
more difficult to do things like that. Haven't tested it for that reason either. So I don't have any data to back that one up. But usually I just tell brands, just leave it on there unless you get like a lot of complaints or like it's actually messing up performance, then just take it off.
Next time you get a client in America who's open to it, I would encourage you. I would love for you to get the data to see if doing open send and collecting emails without a pop up box is better or worse than the pop up and no open send, and
I
basically
definitely
being
will.
responsible for.
I will. Now I'm
Cool.
curious now.
Yeah, yeah, because that would be really. I'm sure OpenSend would love that too. Like if they could prove that, they can perform better without pop-ups, because you're going to be collecting email addresses of people who probably wouldn't even enter their email in a pop-up as well, um,
Yeah.
and you can filter it based on their intent if they went to a lot of pages and their user time. So you're not sending it to people who just get on and out. Um, where can people follow you, support you, hire you?
I'm all over Twitter. Twitter is my main platform. It's basically my full name. It's Dave Diederen. I post daily. I sometimes even try to post twice a day. I just basically post all the insights, like all the tests we run, all the things I see from other brands, all these things. Like I try to share as much value as I can. But Twitter is definitely my main platform.
Well, give them a follow, because if you're running a smaller shop and you're not at the point where you can get statistically relevant things, it still does make sense to implement kind of the learnings from other websites. And yes, it may or may not technically be more beneficial to your store and your conversion rates, but I don't know. It's kind of like I guess in this regard, it's there. I do think there is a little bit of like following the crowd and best practices for like email marketing. Like people expect a certain thing when they go to a website. That's why I love just like the default Shopify cart, because so many people are using the Shopify cart. They know what to expect. They know how to go through it, that I don't want to reinvent the wheel, especially for like my checkout cart. Like just have it familiar, have people know what's going on, and go that. So like, there is a little bit of making sense of like, how do I create my own little world within these best practices that
Yeah.
other stores are doing. Well, I appreciate you coming on board and sharing your insights and information. It's been fun. I've got to hit up my webmaster now and tell her all the things that we got to do. So,
It was a pleasure, man. It was a pleasure being here. I enjoyed it. And for everyone listening, good luck.
yeah, this has been another e-commerce conversations. Cheers. Keep on growing.